If you want 2026 to be your breakthrough year, you can't just slide into it and hope for better results. You have to review how this year really went. You have to get real and honest with yourself. What worked, what didn't, and where your focus needs to shift. Today, I'm walking you through how to do a year end review that's actually useful. Not fluffy, not guilt driven, just honest, strategic reflection that sets you up for growth. I'm Megan Schwan, your accounting sidekick, CEO and founder of Sidekick Accounting, and this is the Profit Points Podcast, the place where we talk about the small, smart shifts that help you build a profitable, sustainable business. Most business owners skip the review part because they're busy finishing projects, pushing through deadlines to get to the end of the year, or we're just plain tired from the year. Am I right? Especially a year like this year. But here's the thing, if you don't reflect, you'll repeat the same bottlenecks, the same money leaks, the same overwhelm will follow you into next year. A good year end review isn't about beating yourself up or tearing yourself down or feeling bad about what didn't work. It's about looking at your numbers and decisions side by side and asking, did my choices actually move me closer to my goals? Did I spend time on the right things? That's what it's really about. And I know it's tough. Getting real and honest with ourselves is uncomfortable and sometimes really not fun, but it's essential to growth and getting to the next level. I've been working with some of our clients on this recently. A lot of business owners don't take the time to review where they've been, they don't take the time to adjust, and they don't take the time to set goals. But what's crazy is the Staples National Business Survey found that over 80% of business owners do not keep track of their goals. Isn't that staggering? And if you fall in that 80%, has that helped or hurt you in the long run? But when I sat down with our clients and we actually started doing this part, it can be really so beneficial for to see what's working, what's not, and then where adjustments can be made instead of just hitting our heads against the wall over and over. Because sometimes it feels like that, especially when you don't have direction. This happened with one of my clients. She wasn't accustomed to doing year end or any end reviews. It showed because she was exhausted and felt like nothing was ever enough. Have you ever felt that way? I know I have too. But what we did was we sat down to review her numbers. Looking at that data, she realized that she had a 22% growth in sales, but her profit hadn't grown. And now that she had that data, she was able to ask herself, why? What happened? And reflecting on the year, reviewing what her sales were made up of, what types of sales revenue or streams of sales were coming in, she was able to see that she was saying yes to a lot of low margin work. So her sales went up, but she wasn't really making a whole lot more profit because it was lower margin work. See how those numbers can be really powerful? Once she was able to see that clearly, she shifted her focus. We worked on simplifying her offers, and within 90 days, her profit margins jumped 88%. The review didn't just show her what went wrong, it gave her permission to change what wasn't working. And how great is that to give ourselves permission to make adjustments and changes, right? So, just like my client, you can take a little bit of time and look at what's been working, what hasn't been, and what maybe needs a little bit of a tweak. So, here's this week's 3 steps, and each of them are a different profit point, hence Profit Points, right? Podcast to the year end review that you absolutely can't skip this part. Okay, so step number 1 is to review your numbers. That is a money point. There are 12 money point or profit points that we talk about in business and when I do coaching with clients. So this is one of the money points. Review your numbers. You don't have to make this complicated. Start simple. What was your total revenue, your profit margin, your expenses? Look at that information. If you have good bookkeeping in place, it'll be really easy to do. Don't look at just the totals. Take a look at trends. What was it month over month? Did you see any kind of trends happening? Where did you grow? Where did you stall? What went up? What went down? Take a look at what's happening in your numbers and ask yourself what service and products were more profitable, what services and products drained not just your resources but also your time and your peace, your excitement, your energy. Look at those things too. One example of this is that one of our clients realized that 70% of her profit was coming from one specific service line. So she wanted to really maximize that to really get her business up to a certain level, her income up to a certain level. So she pulled back on the rest of her services and really just doubled down on what was working. But she was able to do that because she had the numbers. She took the time to review what was happening and what was going on. So, one quick win that you can do for this step is to look at your top 3 income sources and then rank them by profit, not revenue. And in a previous episode, I talked a little bit about, looking at pricing and your profit margins and things like that. So go back and watch that one. Otherwise, profit is basically what's left over after you take out those direct costs associated with creating or delivering the goods and services. So rank them by profit, not just what's been selling the most. And pro tip, when it comes to your margins and looking at your revenue and your profit margins, your gross and net, if you set your chart of accounts up to reflect this, you can easily run those reports every month and be able to track that throughout the year. So pro tip, set up your chart of accounts the right way. And if you need help, let me know. Okay, so step 2 is to review your goals. This is one of our operation points. So go back to your goals that you set at the start of the year or the end of last year and take a look. Did they move you forward or just keep you busy? And if you have been one of the 80% of business owners that don't track their goals or haven't set goals, make this year different and set some goals. Sometimes when we're setting goals, though, one thing to keep in mind is that we chase the wrong metric. We don't need more. You need it to be meaningful. So think about the KPIs or the different metrics that you can put in place that are actually going to move things, that's going to help you move things forward, which is really what key performance indicators are. That's why it's called a key performance indicator. There's a KPI for just about everything. You have to figure out what's going to be a good metric for you that's going to help you to see whether something is performing or not. And it can be as simple as your profit margins or your bank balance month over month. Okay, so then asking a question, did my systems, pricing, and workload support or sabotage my goals? This is a review. Remember, we're reviewing what's happened. We're asking ourselves questions. Make sure you're honest with yourself. Like, don't sugarcoat it with yourself. If something didn't work or if you spent too much time on the wrong things, like, be honest with yourself about that, because that's the first step to making adjustments and growing, which is something you need to do as the CEO of your business. So progress doesn't always mean hitting the goal. It means conquering it. It means that you're getting closer to what that direction is. I always like to say that goals are important because it gives us direction. Whenever we onboard new clients, we start with their goals because having a destination helps to build the plan. And like they say, if you shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. But you got to have that direction to shoot for, right? Okay, so do that. Step 3 is to review your leadership, which is one of our leadership points. So take a look. As the CEO, your mindset and habits shape everything. Did you lead or did you just manage? Were you working in your business or were you working on it? And what percentage of time was that? Did your decisions reflect confidence, clarity, and long-term vision, or were they mostly reactive? This is where growth happens. You don't need to hustle more. You generally need more alignment, clarity, and direction if you want to be able to meet your goals. So, taking a look at what's happened, what you did, what part of the business did you work on, what part of it drained you, what part, were you actually working on versus in? I think I said that twice, but it is very important. And then a quick win that you can do here, or a quick tip, is to ask your team, bring your team into it, contractors and employees if you have them. What's one thing I can do to lead better next year? You can ask them these questions. You can do a survey or some kind of thing. It can be anonymous, where you're just getting real feedback from your team so that you as a leader can grow to support their needs and also continue to move your team and your culture in the right direction towards your goals. Okay, so a meaningful year-end review will help you close the year with intention, not exhaustion. And remember, it's not about perfection, it's just about perspective. It's about understanding how success actually gets achieved. And a big part of that is reflection and revision. So you got to take the time to reflect so that you can revise, so you can refine what's been going on in your business. Is block 1 hour before the end of the year. Do it this week if you can, or the end of next week, because we're heading into the last 2 months of the year for your own year-end review. Look at your numbers, your goals, your leadership, and ask what's worth carrying into the next year, what's not, and what do you need to add? Your 2026 success starts with what you decide to leave behind in 2025. So, a couple things you can do. Of course, join my Facebook group. I have lots of resources in there, and we're ramping up to do more as well. But I'm going to be posting a year-end review worksheet, and you can walk through that process with me in the next couple of weeks. Or you can book a clarity call or just a consultation call on my website. Chatwithmeg.com takes you to my website, and learn more about my Profit Accelerator program, which is 60 days of coaching. We focus on the profit points, get you to clarity, confidence, and then action, which are really important things when it comes to being the business owner. And you can end this year or start next year on a really great note. Okay, this is the Profit Points Podcast / LinkedIn Live Show. I'm Megan Schwan, your accounting sidekick, helping you build a business that actually works for you and your life. And I will see you next week. Have a great day.